They are making a difference on 938 Live.
Over 350 participants from around the world gathered in the Oval Space in London, England, for Guinness's inaugural Makers of More Summit to hear from 5 people about their initiatives that are making a difference to their communities. Amongst them was local social entrepreneur Pamela Chung from Better Barista. I caught up with Marketing Director of Asia Pacific Breweries, Rene de Monchy, to find out more about the summit.
Yeah, I think for us, the Makers of More Summit this year was a big initiative organised as part of Arthur Guinness projects. And you know a bit about the background, right? It's a social entrepreneurship summit. So it's all about, doing good in the community that we work in. You asked about one of the highlights. One of the highlights, I think, for us was definitely having Pamela Chung there from Better Barista here in Singapore. She was one of the speakers at the event. And we've previously shared her story back in 2012. We worked with her as part of Arthur Guinness projects as well, and about the great work that she does with her, brewing a cup of artisan coffee. So really bringing that to life for a good cause.
And by bringing Pamela's story over there into an international crowd, what was the sharing like? What was the atmosphere like? How did the audience receive it?
No, the audience received it really well. I think the great thing about this workshop or the summit in London was actually having speakers from all around the world. And it was a great opportunity to hear Pamela's story about what she is doing in Singapore as a guest speaker, and as well as that, there were kind of breakout and workshop sessions as well, so that they could find out a bit more in detail about her story and how she's been bringing that to life here.
So why did Guinness as a company decide to implement this kind of international competition?
Well, for us with Guinness in Singapore, we've supported projects here for a number of years through the Arthur Guinness Fund, and now more recently known as Arthur Guinness Projects, and it's always been about that, and like I say, social entrepreneurship and supporting the community we work on. The theme has been around marginalised people in society, and specifically around marginalised women in society for the last couple of years. So we see this really as an evolution of those programs of the past. The global competition, I think, is just kind of the next level, and it's quite an interesting approach and interesting take. So we were very enthusiastic to be part of that from right here in Singapore.
Rene, at the summit, what inspired you other than Pamela's own story?
At the summit itself, I think it was, Pamela's story was very unique, but I think having speakers from all different countries around the world, it's great to see how people are bringing very different projects to life. So I don't think there's one that really stood out amongst the others. It's really inspiring to see, different stories happening in different countries, and I think Pamela's story from Singapore really is clearly belongs amongst those stories as well. So it's not about one being better than the other. It's really the collective of what these people are doing in their own communities. Now
the challenge runs till December. What kind of applications are you looking forward to seeing from Singapore?
I think for us, social entrepreneurship is still relatively new in Singapore. And at the same time, we think that Singapore is full of individuals who are passionate about contributing to the community. So I'm really excited about, I think seeing, in a way, what comes out. What are people going to do? Before we met Pamela, I had no idea that the organisation of Better Barista was established. So it was, in itself, it's an inspiring story. And so last year we worked with a group called Cha-Cha Cottage as well, which is also a very inspiring story. So I'm really looking forward, to be honest, I'm looking forward to being surprised in terms of seeing some really unique stories coming to life.
You did mention that marginalized women was quite a huge focus for the social enterprises that have contributed to Makers of More for this competition. Any other areas of concern you are predicting might come up this year?
I'm not sure. I think that is still the theme that we see as an important theme that we want to focus on. Again, it's something we've supported for a number of years, so I think we will continue to do that. And I think there's opportunities where we can help the community with Arthur Guinness projects in that same theme.
Rene de Monchy, Marketing Director of Asia Pacific Breweries. The Makers of More Challenge is open to applications. The deadline for entries is the 19th of December. You can find out more at changemakers.com/makersofmore. This has been They Are Making a Difference. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daphne Lim.
They are making a difference on 938 Live.